day today. Looks like a summer day. It feels like a summer day. That's for sure. A little warm out there. So we're going to come up on the 405 and we'll see what he decides to do. So far, it looks like he's going to stay on the 101 westbound. He's not going in. Okay, he's Van Nuys Boulevard, passing that right now. And see those cars there? That's smart of them to go to the side of the road when they see this type of pursuit and they hear the sirens and see the lights. It's probably very smart of them to just pull over, stay as safe as possible. Okay, so now he's going about 60 miles per hour. Now he's slowing down because up here it always slows down at that 405-101 interchange. And he's going to be coming into a little bit more traffic. It always seems a little bit heavier west of the 405 freeway, as you can see right there. Okay, I think he just passed the 405, so he's staying on the 101. Be going through Encino, Tarzana, and this is where it always slows up. So we'll see what type of driving maneuvers he makes, because he's kind of boxed in there with all that traffic. And you see that CHP officer right behind him, but he, of course, can't do the pit maneuver when he's that close to other cars and other vehicles. But it looks like he might be thinking about it. They're getting awfully close. It looks like they want to do the pit maneuver on him, perhaps. They just have to wait for the right circumstance, the right, wide open freeway, and to make sure nobody else is in harm's way. Certainly going slow enough, and that's a wide open freeway right there. It's remarkable to see that. Right now we only see one CHP officer right behind him. As you can see, that guy's staying right on top of him right there. So all we know right now is that it's a HOV lane violation with one occupant in that car, perhaps a failure to yield, and started on the one westbound, I'm sorry, it was probably the 2 freeway, went on to the 134, and now has made his way on the 101 into the Encino area west of the 405. Slowing down quite a bit up here. There's the officer trying to make a move, getting to the left of that car. And we'll see what he does now. This will be interesting. Wow, okay. Getting rather, aggressive on this car. Perhaps they want to just end this quickly while they can. We saw a pursuit, I think it was last week, where they probably had an opportunity to do a pit maneuver on the guy, and maybe when they do their debriefing at the end, they analyze it and think, well, what could we have done differently? So who knows? Perhaps the pit maneuver is in order. He's passing Sepulveda now, so, okay, so he hasn't gotten onto the, now he'll be, okay, sorry, he will be east of the 405 now, because he's just past Sepulveda, so he's just making his way there. And hopefully they are in communication with this man. I don't know if they know who he is. And okay, there we go. Honda, there you can see like a small SUV. They said likely a CRV Honda, but wow, we've seen this officer go on right next to him 3 times now, perhaps trying to get him to pull over, trying to make the guy realize he's not going to get very far. And hopefully he will come to his senses. But you just never know. And by this time, really nothing surprises us when it comes to these pursuits. Okay, there's another officer next to the SUV. Passing the 405 now. Okay, so now we know he definitely did not get on the 405. Now at Encino. And just traveling. Now he's boxed in again, and this is when it gets interesting, because there's nowhere for him to go, and I'm sure these cars around him, everybody. All right, we're going to bring in Bruce Thomas. Of course, he's our law enforcement expert. And Bruce, nice to hear your voice again, and thank you for joining us.
No problem. Thank you. Yeah, it was interesting because I was just over in the East Valley running some errands, and I saw the helicopters and saw the pursuit and thought, well, let me call in.
Oh, well, you know what? We really appreciate it because you always shed some light on some of these pursuits. What do you think of this particular guy? You know, he's stopping and going, and I've seen the CHP officer come up right next to him. What's that tactic? Is it sort of an intimidation thing to get him to stop?
Well, one of the things that CHP is trying to do is to gain some information. Because my understanding, it's just a carpool violation, and at this point, a failure to yield. Both are low-grade misdemeanors, if that.
Yeah, so it makes you wonder if he knows something, you know, we don't know. Okay, here, what is this officer doing now? Just.
You know, it looks like CHP may tried a pit maneuver there. At this point, they don't seem to think it's anything beyond what we know, or they would not be doing those tactics.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So it's interesting. You know, so how much leeway do they have to have, or how much space around their car that they want to perform the pit maneuver on do they need?
Well, typically, a freeway is an ideal area like this. You have multiple lanes, you have a center divider to your left, and a railing or something off the other side. However, you do have to worry about ambient traffic. In this case, there's a lot of stop-and-go traffic, so it's not an ideal situation.
Yeah.
But they may do something if they can get a traffic break up ahead.
Okay. This is so interesting to watch because, you know, this officer is literally right next to him seconds ago. Oh, okay. I think he's coming to a stop, Bruce, right in the middle of the freeway, I believe. If we can zoom out, I don't know, relation to, there we go. Yep, right in the middle of the freeway. But at least he's come to a stop. I think he realized he was boxed in and he's not going to get very far.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting when you have suspects in a pursuit. They're obviously not in their right mind anyway. They're in that fight or flight type of mode. And in this case, I'm sure there's some contributing factors that are not leading this guy to do this rationally.
Wow. Well, yeah, this is an interesting ending, too, because obviously they must have known he's not armed because they walked right up to the car.
Yeah, this seems to just be a low-grade misdemeanor, a failure to yield, and I get a traffic ticket for the HOV lanes. Unfortunately, now the suspect has compounded his charges just to a little bit of a higher
Bruce,
degree.
You know, we're looking at him now, and he seems like an elderly man. Perhaps he's confused because he seems a little confused now, even. And you know, God help him. I hope he's okay, and I hope. You know, you never know with elderly if they're right mind or they dementia. Who knows, right?
Right. You know, you bring up a lot of good factors there, and as police officers, we've seen who the driver is. We take it into account. Are we still on a heightened alertness? Yes, of course. But we'll treat him with the respect and the dignity he deserves to make sure he is okay at maybe an underlying medical condition, you said.
Yeah, I see the officers treating him very gingerly. So, you know, hopefully he's okay, and at least it's over, right? And he could have been hurt. He could have hurt somebody else. So, thankfully, this pursuit is over. It's happening right about Havenhurst at the 101. So be cautious that if you're going eastbound on the 101, westbound on the 101, you're going to be having some slow go, stop and go for quite some time. Bruce, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Have a great afternoon.
Yeah, you too. And it's always nice to hear your voice. And one of these days we'll get to call you other than a pursuit, just to say hello. All right, you take care. All right, so you've been watching the conclusion of this pursuit, and no doubt they're going to clear that freeway very shortly. Probably one of the officers will drive that car off the freeway. Car's doing fine, so it's not incapacitated, so they'll be able to just clear that freeway. But look at that backup. It's going to be quite a backup on a Wednesday afternoon. So you take care, and we'll have the very latest for you on Eyewitness News coming up today at 3 o'clock. We'll see you then.